We're going to go over the basics of computer programming with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in basic English in 3 super short videos between 5 to 10 minutes. This is the app we'll be making, and there are high-paying tech jobs that will hire you for knowing just the basics of these 3 languages we're about to learn with no college degree today. This app is made with files that we just write with text. We separate them into 3 types of files though: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And these words probably mean absolutely nothing to you at this point, and that's totally cool. But we can see the concept behind how they work in all the apps that we use every single day. Just know that they each do something different. HTML has the actual things on the site, or the content. So things like some text in a paragraph, or some images, or videos. And we use CSS to control how those things look. So CSS can change things like the color of the text, or the size of the image or video, or where it should go on the screen. And JavaScript is what we use to actually make the app do something when we interact with it. Things like make the number of likes go up when we click on the like icon. So the concept is really simple. The way every app is made is just by making regular files with text in them. Really similar to documents that we write in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. I mean, we could even make these in any text editor like Notepad if we wanted to, but to make it way easier for us, we'll use a special text editor app called VS Code. So we can just type VS Code into Google, click on the download link on the website, and download VS Code. And I'm on Windows, so I'll grab that one. But once we open it, we can make a file where we'll write the text for our app. Let's choose a place to make the file. So in the top left corner, we can click File, choose Open Folder, create a folder to make our app in, and select it. Now to make a new file, we can hover over the folder name and click the new document icon with a plus on it. Let's start with an HTML file to put the actual stuff on the screen. Since this is the homepage, we can just call it homepage.html. Inside of here is where we'll write what's actually going to be on our app screen. We probably want to actually see our screen though, and VS Code has a really simple tool to let us do that. On the left side of the screen, one of these icons is labeled extensions. If we click on that and search for live server, we can install it to let us open our app to see what we're putting on the screen. Just make sure it's the one by someone named Raywick Day. And if we click the Explorer icon here to go back to our app and select our new HTML file, now we see a button at the very bottom of the screen that says Go Live. When we click that, our browser will open with our app screen. And now if we type anything in this file, press Ctrl S to save, and also refresh our browser window, we see it show up on our app's screen. Cool. Now you might have noticed something about those examples of using HTML to add text, images, and videos we looked at before. All of those examples were surrounded by some arrows at the beginning and end, and these are called tags. They pretty much always have an opening tag and a closing tag, and in between is where we put what we actually want to show up on the screen. So let's get started. There's a really cool tool VS Code has built in that will automatically write the basic structure of our app for us. We can try it out by just typing an exclamation mark and pressing Enter. It'll write a bunch of stuff here that we absolutely do not need to understand yet, and honestly, there are tons of developers with jobs that don't know what all these things here do. The only part we need to focus on right now is this body tag right here. Inside of it, we'll put our video. I'll put a link to the video where we can download it in the video description. Then we'll save it to the same folder of the app we're making. Putting a video in our app is really easy. We can just start writing the word video and press enter. VS Code will make a video tag for us, and all we have to do is tell our app where the actual video is in this source property. Ours is called cafe.mp4, so we can write that in between these quotation marks here. Now if we save, we see our video show up on the screen. But we'll notice we don't have any controls showing to actually play the video. And we can add those really easily by going back to our new video tag, and just like the source property, we'll add a space and type the word controls. Then we'll make the controls show up by setting controls equal to true, like this, between two quotation marks. Now when we save, the video in our app now has icons that let us play the video, control the volume, and even make it full screen if we want to. But looking at our final designs, we'll probably want to change the background color of this main area and also make our video a little smaller. So we're going to use a bit of CSS to do that in just a second. But let's take 15 seconds to think about how we usually make apps. It can usually be really helpful to divide our app into sections. Like if we look at our final design, we have a larger main section here that's kind of like a grayish tan and covers the whole background of the page, right? And if we wanted to, we could probably think of this main section as being made up of two smaller sections too. We have our section with the video on top and a section with our icons on the bottom. And dividing our app up like this can help us to move and position things the way we want on the page. So let's start doing that and make a main section with a grayish tan colored background. And of course, we'll put our video and everything else inside of this main section. To divide our app up into smaller sections, we can use a new tag that we haven't used yet called a div tag to help us divide it up. So inside of this body tag again, we can start writing the words div and press enter. VS Code has made an opening and closing div tag for us. And if we press enter again to give ourselves some space, we can just move our video inside. Nothing has changed on our page yet, but now we have made a section for our main section. It would be nice to give this new section a name so we know what it's for, and change its color with CSS in a second. And we can do that with something called a class. It's just a way of giving any of our HTML tags a name so we can do something with it later, like change the background color. And inside of this opening div tag, all we have to do is type a space to give ourselves some room again and start typing the word class and press enter. Inside these quotation marks, we can give it whatever name we want. Since this is our main section, let's call it main section with a dash in between. Cool, so with our HTML file, we've added our video, created a div to hold everything on the screen, and given that the name of main section by giving it a class. Now in the next video, we'll change the color of the background with a CSS file. And hear me out, I know I said I'd mainly keep these 3 videos between 5 to 10 minutes, but I needed just an extra 2 minutes in this next video to break things down here and there, just to make sure it didn't feel overwhelming. Helping people get high-paying tech jobs by trying to make learning coding as unintimidating as possible is something like I really love to do. So if you want to support and allow me the time to think of ways to help others feel less intimidated by tech, there's a link to my Patreon below. And as you learn, remember the old adage, may the odds be ever in your favor and the snacks be ever in your bag.